No.
Oh, you don't want to be in it? Okay.
All
right, good. So I read a new statistic that you only have like -2 seconds to get everyone's attention in a crowd. Okay, it used to be, like 20 minutes, but nobody has an attention span anymore, right? So I only had 2 seconds to do this. So I'm going to get all of your attention so you're all present because I'm going to ask you 2 questions, and it's just true or false. All right? You ready?
Go for it.
Okay. True or false? You should never miss breakfast, and you should make sure to always eat 6 small meals a day.
False.
False.
False or true?
False.
False. False. Good. All right, we've got one more question. Ready? True or false? Your metabolism will slow down if you miss a meal.
False.
False. You guys are smart. Okay. Do I have your attention now?
I did not know.
Okay. So this class is on intermittent fasting. It's the first time that we've had a workshop on this topic, and a lot of people were asking about it. It is a super hot topic right now. That's why you guys are here, right? You want to know about intermittent fasting? Okay. So this is new, so I made myself some notes because this is a huge topic and we only have, let's see, probably like 45 minutes. I'm going to go over as much of it as I can. If you want these notes afterwards, just let me know and I will send them to you. But this is mostly so I don't go off on a tangent, okay? So I'm going to start with, first of all, I'm Dr. Shelly. Most of you I know, but I'm Dr. Shelly. This is Natural Health Practices. I am a chiropractor and I do nutritional response testing. We do everything but drugs and surgery under this roof. So we offer people a natural solution to health problems. A lot of our patients come in here because they've tried everything and anything, and the favorite thing for me to hear is nothing has worked. And that's exciting to me because I know that what we have to offer here usually works for people, almost everybody, okay, if they give it a shot. So that being said, a big part of what we do with people is nutrition, and therefore I'm going to talk about how not to eat. So I'm going to get rid of that entire half of my practice. Nobody's going to eat anymore. Nobody thought that was funny at all. I did. Okay. I got to work on my jokes. Okay. So anyway, take notes. This is good stuff. Intermittent fasting, what is it? It is a dieting pattern, okay? So it's not a diet, all right? Intermittent fasting is not a diet. It's not like a ketogenic diet. It's not an Atkins diet. It's not a vegetarian diet. It's actually a dieting pattern, okay? It doesn't tell you what to eat. It tells you when to eat, okay? And when not to eat. So just so you guys understand, I want you to know that we're not talking about what to eat. We're talking about when, okay? So there are 3 types of intermittent fasting that have become the most popular types. There are so many different types out there. There are some types of intermittent fasting that I wouldn't even consider intermittent fasting, but the 3 that have become the most popular, and if you run into someone and they're saying that they're doing they're intermittent fasting, it's usually one of these 3. So if you guys want to write this down, the first one is called the 16-8 method. Okay, and what you do is you fast for 16 hours, and then you eat for 8 hours. This is probably the most common one, the most popular one. It's also the easiest one to follow because what you would do is you would eat an early dinner, okay? You wouldn't eat before you go to bed. You sleep all night and then you miss breakfast and then you can eat lunch. So that's 16 hours without eating, and then you can eat for 8 hours. Some people, you can do it however you want, as long as it's 16 hours of fasting and 8 hours that you have a window to eat, okay? So that's the most popular one. The second one is known as the 24-hour plan. Some people call this eat, stop, eat. Given the name, it's pretty obvious that you fast for 24 hours. Usually people do this once or twice a week. They're just like, I'm not going to eat all day Sunday, not going to eat, okay? Like I said in the beginning, it doesn't tell you what to eat when you do eat. Some people do a dry fast for 24 hours. Some people have liquids. Some people say, oh, I'm going to have coffee. That's okay. But the idea is you're not eating anything for 24 hours, okay? And you don't really want to do this consecutive days because then it's not 24 hours, okay? It becomes 2 24-hour periods, okay? So some people do this on a Friday and then a Wednesday, something like that. The easiest way to do this is to fast from 8 p.m. one day to 8 p.m. the next day. That's 24 hours, right? But you still get to eat both days. Okay? You guys see how that works? So you're sleeping for the majority of the 24-hour period that you're not eating. So it's not as hard as it sounds, okay? So after 8 p.m., so if you went from, let's say you had a dinner at 7, okay? You ate dinner at 7, you started your fast at 8, okay? You don't eat anything until 8 o'clock the next night, and then you can break your fast at 8:30 or 9, okay? So you still can eat on both days, but there's 24 hours in between that you didn't. Got it? Am I going too fast, or is everyone good? Okay.
Easy peasy.
So the third most common way of intermittent fasting is called the 5-2 diet, okay? And this one, it is considered intermittent fasting to some people. I don't necessarily consider this one a fast, but it is very common. What you do is on 2 non-consecutive days, you consume 500 or 600 calories or less. And 500 calories is half of what people eat generally, even less than that. It's not that much. Some people have 500 calorie breakfasts, okay? So to have 500 calories throughout the day, some people that would be considered fasting, okay? But what you would do for 5 days you eat normally, and then 2 of the days you severely restrict your calorie intake, okay? So it's not a 24-hour fast. You can have some food, but it's restricted, okay? Those are 3 ways to do this, okay? There's thousands of ways to do an intermittent fast, okay? These are just the ways that I wanted to share with you guys that most people do, okay? There is not a right way or a wrong way because nobody came up with this and patented it and said that this is how you do it, but these are the ways that people most often do it, okay? All right, so this is the fun part. Now that you guys know what an intermittent fast is. Why do people do this? Why would anybody not want to eat? Does anyone in here want to do this, by the way, before I even start talking about the benefits? You want to do this? Does anyone else want to do this? We got a couple people. You guys don't know yet. Okay, I'm going to ask you again at the end, but this is what I need to take notes on because this is the part I could have gone on a tangent. So what happens when you fast? Okay, I'm going to go over all the benefits of it. So you can write these down or I'll give you the notes. I can send you the notes if you want, okay? So there is something called human growth hormone, okay? When you fast, this hormone increases. So when you're sleeping at night, which is technically a fast, you actually have higher levels of human growth hormone when you're sleeping. And this is important because it helps your tissues to repair. And this is also why kids will sleep for like 12 or 13 hours, right? So they have a lot of growth hormone. They're growing, all right? And then as you get older, you don't need to sleep as much because you're not really growing anymore, okay? But this hormone is important for growth and repair. And it's interesting because when you're fasting, this hormone can increase 5-fold, okay? That's pretty significant, okay? And I want to just go back a second just so you guys understand. A fast does not mean from lunch to dinner, okay? That's not what I mean, okay? I just want you guys to understand. Some people will miss a meal and they're like, oh, I'm fasting. No. You still have food in your body. Your body is still digesting it. Just because you're not physically sitting down and eating a meal doesn't mean that you're fasted. The food needs to be through your digestive tract, not have anything in you for a fast to actually begin, okay? So when you go to bed, if you just ate dinner, let's say you ate dinner and then you fell asleep, okay? You don't really start your fast until at least an hour or 2 into your sleep cycle, okay? Just so you guys understand that. So anyway, human growth hormone increases. This is really important for people who work out a lot, actually, because their body needs to repair, okay? Especially people who are lifting weights or doing any kind of strenuous exercise. human growth hormone is really, really important for your body to repair, okay? So a fast could actually be beneficial for athletes, believe it or not, okay? All right, second thing. Your insulin sensitivity will improve during a fast. So insulin sensitivity is really important because without it, your body doesn't know what to do with the food that you eat. And this is what happens when people become diabetic, okay? Their insulin is all screwed up. All right, their body's not sensitive to it anymore, okay? They've shocked their system for so long with lots of sugar and carbohydrates that when they go to eat something, their body's not even, their pancreas will pump insulin into their body, but their body's not sensitive to it, so it doesn't recognize it, okay? So when you fast, your body becomes more sensitive to the insulin, meaning when you go to eat, your body's like, oh, I know what to do with this food. It's sensitive to it. It's like, oh, I got it. I know what to do with it, okay? And this is really, really important to prevent diabetes, okay? And I'm going to talk about this, I'm going to talk about this a little bit later also, but there have actually been a lot of cases that fasting or severely reducing your calories can actually reverse diabetes, okay? So not only can you prevent it, which we all want to try and prevent that, nobody wants to deal with that, but for people who already have been diagnosed with diabetes and their body it doesn't recognize insulin or produce it at all anymore, you can actually reverse it, which is awesome. Did you guys know that? No, okay. Just making sure I wasn't telling you something you already knew. So you can lower your blood sugar by 3 to 6%, like your blood sugar when you're fasting, okay? You can lower fasting insulin levels by 20 to 31%. That's pretty significant by just not eating, okay? It's not a medication. You just don't eat, and all of a sudden your body's blood sugar levels and insulin levels, they balance themselves naturally, okay? So the more sensitive your body is to insulin, the better it can handle the food that you eat. Got it? Okay. Next thing, your cellular repair increases, okay? So just like the human growth hormone, which helps your body's muscles repair, okay? Each cell actually repairs faster and more efficiently in a fasted state, okay? The fancy word for it is autophagy, okay? Autophagy, isn't that fun to say? So, try it, autophagy.
Autophagy.
Yeah, okay. It's not just me, it's fun to say, right?
Yeah.
Autophagy. When you see it written out, it looks like autophagy, but it's autophagy, okay? So what that means is that when you have a damaged cell in your body, autophagy means that your body is able to destroy that cell and get rid of it, okay? That is so important because if you have a damaged cell that is not destroyed and eliminated, that damaged cell can duplicate and then you have another damaged cell. And that damaged cell can duplicate and you can have another damaged cell. And down the line, that becomes a cancerous situation, right? Because those are damaged cells. So it is really important that your body can get rid of damaged cells. So when you're in a fasted state, your body is doing that, okay? Your body is not spending energy on digesting food. It's spending energy on digesting cells that aren't working properly. Does that make sense to you guys? That reason alone should be reason enough to at least once in your life do a fast, even if it's just for a day. It gives your body a break from digesting food and it's able to get rid of the damaged cells, okay? So this is also important because when you're fasted, the expression of your genes actually improve as well, okay? So I don't believe, and this is not a fact, this is my belief, okay? I don't believe that when somebody says, oh, it's just my genetic this or my genetic that, or, you know, I have this problem because my mom has this problem, okay? Or I have this because everybody in my family has that, right? That is very, very rare that that's true, okay? Very rare. Most of the time, the reason why certain diseases and disorders run in families is because nobody runs in that family. Was that one funny?
Good.
Was that good? Oh my gosh, you guys are like, that's that, oh my gosh, I'm never making a joke again. Seriously, okay. Anyway, the reason that certain disorders run in families is because of environmental reasons, okay? They all, you live with people for the majority of your life, you tend to eat the same, do the same things, breathe the same air, drink the same water, so you end up with the same disorders, Or you eat all the right things, you do all the right things, and you all end up healthy. So it's a healthy family, or it's a not healthy family, and it's not necessarily because of their genetic makeup, okay? So when you fast, your genes are able to express themselves better. So the good ones are turned on, and all the ones that you don't want to deal with are turned off. Okay? That's awesome, right? Mm-hmm. All right. So next reason to fast. Your inflammation decreases. I don't even need to explain that when everybody pretty much knows that inflammation is not a good thing. So when you fast, your inflammation starts decreasing. It's a great reason, okay? Your heart health improves when you fast. So there is LDL and HDL cholesterol, okay? A lot of people call the LDL the bad cholesterol. It's not really bad, okay? You just want it to be lower than the HDL, okay? You don't have a bad cholesterol and good cholesterol, but you do want your LDLs to be lower. And the reason is because it's better for your heart, okay? When you fast, the LDLs go down because the inflammation went down. So then your heart is healthier, okay? So if you ever get blood work done and you go to your medical doctor and he says, oh, your bad cholesterol is high, you can tell him, I don't have bad cholesterol, okay? and you can know now that if your LDLs are elevated, that if you fast, or even if you just do an intermittent fast, you can actually naturally lower those LDLs. How cool is that? You don't need to go on Lipitor and then mess up your brain in the process, because that's what it does, okay? So heart health improves. Ready for this one? Your cancer risk decreases. And I mentioned that with the autophagy, okay? But there are actually a lot of studies, a lot of them you probably didn't hear of because the cancer industry is a big industry, okay? It's a business, all right? So if there was a way to reduce cancer and, follow the money trail, right? There is a way to reduce your risk of cancer, though. And one of the ways is intermittent fasting, okay? There have been a ton of studies. A lot of studies were done on animals that had cancer, and they fasted these animals, and then their cancer is gone, okay? Gone. So many of these studies to the point where it blows my mind that this is not a normal protocol for somebody who has a high cancer risk or has been diagnosed with a precancerous anything, okay? So if you want to reduce your risk of cancer, try intermittent fasting, okay? Your brain health will also improve. So this one is very interesting. A lot of people think that you can't regenerate nerves once they die, nerves in your brain. So a lot of neurological problems are degenerative because you can't regenerate nerves. So the nervous system just degenerates, right? So like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, MS, things like that, people just progressively get worse. However, there have been some studies that intermittent fasting can actually regenerate nerves. That's huge, okay? This is not mainstream media type conversation, but if there is even a chance of nerves regenerating, I mean, wouldn't you give it a shot, right? If there's, what else are you gonna do? Intermittent fasting can extend your life. You can live longer if you eat less, which is the opposite of what we have all been taught, right? So you should eat 6 meals a day. You should never miss breakfast. Don't go hungry between meals. You gotta snack, okay? Which is completely the opposite if you have any intention of living a long, healthy life. So you can actually extend your life by fasting or eating less, okay? They did a study on rats, and the rats lived 36 to 83% longer when they did intermittent fasting. 83% longer. I mean, I know this is a rat, but almost every study is done on a rat at some point in time, right? I mean, 83% longer, that's almost double the lifespan, okay? That means that even if you can extend your life by a year, I mean, think about how much more you can do in your life. Whole year, right? All right. The last one I have on my list here, the last benefit of intermittent fasting, is I think most people's favorite benefit, and that is weight loss, okay? So given everything that I just said about all the other benefits, I'm just going to give a little overview on why weight loss can occur, okay? First of all, your hormone balance, okay? When you fast, like I said, human growth hormone, and there's a lot of other hormones that will balance naturally. Fasting actually increases your metabolic rate, okay? So right when I started, when I was trying to get your attention, I said, will your metabolism slow down if you miss a meal? And the answer is no, it will not slow down. In fact, it will speed up. Your metabolic rate will increase by 3.6 to 14%. Okay, that's a lot. So what you actually were taught originally was backwards. Okay? So in 2014, there was another study that if you intermittent fast, that you can lose 3 to 8% of your weight over 3 to 24 weeks. Okay? And again, remember, this is not talking about what you eat. It's talking about when you eat. So just changing when you just don't change anything else except for when you eat. You can lose weight. Okay? This is not talking about a diet, okay? So think about if you do intermittent fasting and then you start talking about what you're eating also, think about how much more that could help. Okay? I'm sure everybody knows someone, or maybe you've experienced yourself trying to go on a diet and you're eating what you think is all the right things, okay? And you're just like, this worked for so-and-so and it's not working for me. I'm eating all the right things and I'm not losing weight. It might not be that you're eating the wrong things and you're beating yourself up about it. It might be that you're eating it at the wrong times, okay? So that's why this stuff is so powerful, to just know about intermittent fasting, okay? Is everyone taking? You guys are taking notes. This is good. This is good. Okay, so that's all the good news, right? I had to add to the list. These are my personal additions to my research on this, okay? There are some other benefits of intermittent fasting that a lot of people don't think about, but I've done this for years, okay? And I can tell you guys kind of how I do it if you want to know. I'll tell you at the end. But there are 3 other benefits that I have found to try intermittent fasting. And the first one is that you save time, okay? Think about how much time you spend cooking, meal prepping, cleaning your dishes, even putting them in the dishwasher, taking them out of the dishwasher, okay? Going food shopping, how that is like the most time consuming thing to me. I actually just downloaded Shipped and they come to my house now. It's great. But but it's very time consuming. Sometimes that's okay, like if you're going out to eat and it's a social event. But for the most part, we can all agree that eating often is time consuming. So if you intermittent fast, all of a sudden you have so much more time in your day, okay? So that's a benefit to me at least, okay? The second thing is that you'll save money, okay? So think about it. If you're not preparing 3, 4, 5, 6 meals a day, and you're buying that food, if you're only preparing, let's say, 2 meals a day, okay? You're going to save money, right? It's less food, so,
Yeah.
right? Okay. So number 3, and I don't know, this is a benefit to me, so you guys can humor me and just agree, but when you intermittent fast, I don't know, it's less decisions to make.
Yes.
Right? Okay, so somebody agrees. Okay. Unless you are a super hardcore professional at meal prepping out like a week at a time, every time a meal comes up, you're like, oh, what am I gonna eat? And it's another decision to make. And I have to make a lot of decisions in a day. I mean, every patient I see, I have to make a decision about how to help that person, right? Anything that happens in this office, I mean, we all make a lot of decisions in a day, which is fine. We're all really good at it. But, I mean, not having to make a decision about what to eat for a meal or two, that's, I don't know, I think that's a benefit. That's a huge benefit to me. So I have more energy, more time, more money by intermittent fasting. Cool? Mm. All right, so before I continue, who now wants to try intermittent fasting? Oh, okay, good. All right. So there are a couple things to consider. I told you all the good things, okay? There's a couple things to consider if you're going to try this. because it's not all perfect if you don't do certain things, okay? Certain people have a history of some kind of eating disorder or disordered eating or disordered body image, things like that, okay? Intermittent fasting for some people who have had eating disorders, okay? And before I continue, I just want to define what an eating disorder is, okay? So it can be something extreme like anorexia or bulimia, something like that. Somebody could be throwing up what they're eating. Somebody could be just not eating at all. Those are extreme cases of disordered eating. But disordered eating is also overeating, okay? So if you are somebody who sits down to a meal and you're full, but you just keep eating and you cannot not keep eating, that is disordered eating, right? And we've all been there. It doesn't mean that we all have an eating disorder, but it is a form of disordered eating, right? Because you're not in 100% control. So for some people, intermittent fasting can save their lives, okay? Because they're only allowed to have disordered eating for a certain amount of time, and then the rest of the time they can't, okay? Seriously. It gives them a sense of control over when they're eating, and that can help people who have some kind of disordered eating or even an eating disorder, okay? That being said, there are times where intermittent fasting can be the biggest enemy to somebody who has a eating disorder, okay? So take somebody who is already anorexic and they're already not eating, and this gives them a reason to do that. That's not good, okay? So that's something to keep in mind. Even if it doesn't apply to you, it is an important thing because we don't want to make disorders worse, right? The other way to screw up intermittent fasting would be you overeat during your feeding windows, okay? So, and plus you're not gonna save money if you do that, okay? So, I'll give you an example. Let's say you eat dinner at 7 p.m. and then you're gonna fast from 8 p.m. until 8 p.m. tomorrow. And then at 8:30, you're gonna break your fast and you eat more food than you would have eaten in that 24-hour window. First of all, you're not gonna feel very good. It's gonna be that post-Thanksgiving just, right? But that defeats the purpose, right? I mean, that would be hard to do for a lot of people. I mean, that would be like a major binge, okay? But if you do that, let's say you broke your fast at 8, and you stayed up until 2 o'clock in the morning eating all the food you didn't for the last 24 hours, okay? We laugh about this because it's real. This is what happens to people because they're like, oh, but I fasted, I'm gonna lose weight. But they just ate 5,000 calories in a 2-hour window. Yeah. They ordered pizza, they do all that. No, you don't do that. That is not going to work, okay? Although I did say that this is not a diet, so it's not about what you eat. But if you eat the same amount in a window that you didn't eat over your fast, not a good idea, okay? Okay, this one's kind of funny too. I'm trying to make this funny because we're talking about like not eating, so there's not many things that are funny about it, but so some people get really grumpy when they don't eat, right? Are you guys, who here gets grumpy when they don't eat? Oh my God, there's only 3 seriously, I'm admitting it. I get super grumpy, okay?
That's funny.
So,
Hangry.
hangry. I'm going to call it grumpy, but hangry, okay? You're angry because you're hungry, okay? This is a major problem when you try to intermittent fast, especially if you've never done it before. So if you guys go home tonight, okay, and you're going to tell your family, I'm going to try this intermittent fasting thing. Dr. Shelly says it's going to like reduce, all of these issues. It's going to make me smarter. It's going to make me live longer, all of that. So I'm only going to eat dinner tonight and I'm not eating until dinner tomorrow. And your family's like, yeah, right. Okay. And then you come home from work tomorrow and you're going to eat dinner and you just like rip everybody's head off. Okay. This can happen. Okay. So at that point, a lot of people will give up. Okay, especially if you do the type of fast where, let's say you eat dinner tonight and then you skip breakfast tomorrow morning. By lunchtime tomorrow, you might be kind of grumpy, okay? And at that point, a lot of people are like, I'm not doing this anymore, okay? So the next day, they're just like, this is ridiculous. I yelled at someone I don't normally yell at, okay? This is a real thing. And I'm going to tell you that it is not because of any physiological reason in your body. It is because you're breaking a habit, okay? when you take something away from somebody that they've been in a habit of doing, people will get grumpy, okay? So as far as physiologically what's happening, we already went over how your hormones are actually more balanced, your blood sugar is actually doing better, okay? Physiologically, your body is so happy. So why are you not happy? And it's because you couldn't have your coffee in the morning, and all of a sudden, everyone's in trouble, right? Or you couldn't have whatever you eat for breakfast. You're so used to, think about it, you do this every day. You wake up, you go into your kitchen, and you eat something, the same thing, usually, always the same thing. Or you make, you this is me in the morning, I'll be honest. I'm going in my kitchen, and I'm just like turning on my Keurig, and I'm like half awake, right? But I'm in the habit of doing that. So when you take that away from someone, they're like not happy about it. So that's actually what the hangry is. And I promise you, if you can get over that, you'll actually be happier, okay? That goes away. It really does, I promise you, okay? If it didn't go away, nobody would do the intermittent fasting thing if it didn't go away, okay? If they were just angry all the time, nobody would do that, right? So, let me just see if I missed anything, because this is why I wrote everything down. I will tell you this, as far as the hangry thing, it usually takes about 3 or 4 days, okay? So if you're gonna do a fast from like 8 p.m. to 8 p.m., something like that, you gotta give it a couple days, okay? So don't think that after the second day, because you're not just ecstatic and super loving to everybody, that it's not for you, okay? So you gotta give your body a couple days, okay? To break a habit, really, it takes weeks, but to get over the emotional response to not having food, it only takes a couple days. You just gotta do it, okay? All right, this was a ton of information, I know, and I went through it really fast so that when people go back to watch this video, they don't have to watch it on 1.5 speed, because I always do that, okay? But I want to, another joke, okay. I want to go over how we can help people in this office with intermittent fasting specifically, because I don't want to just give you all this information and then you don't really know what to do with it, okay? What we do nutrition response testing here, okay? And I can talk more about that if you guys have any specific questions at the end. But another thing that we do here is we call it nutrition coaching, okay? And it's basically nutrition counseling. Coaching sounds better, right? I think it sounds better. But it's really hard to make changes to what you eat without accountability. I can't do it, okay? I have 2 or 3 people holding me accountable right now for what I eat, all right? So when a patient comes in here and I'm trying to hold them accountable, I mean, I want everyone to know, like, I have 3 people holding me accountable. That's how out of control I would be, even knowing what I know, okay? So it's really, really, really important to have accountability, even if it's a family member or someone, if you're gonna do something like this, okay? It's very hard to do it on your own. So one of the ways that we can help people with this is we call it nutrition coaching, and we sit down with you and we'll go over basically what I just went over with you here, but it would be more specific to you because everyone's different. You might not be okay doing a 24-hour fast. You might be okay doing it for like 4 days. Everybody's different, and it's really hard to just say this is what you need to do. And the other part of it is, what do you eat when you have your feeding window open? Okay, so that's where nutrition response testing and one-on-one coaching would help somebody, because if somebody would benefit from doing like a ketogenic type diet with intermittent fasting, their health benefits would be amazing for some people, right? Other people, if somebody is super athletic, they're training for something, that might be a really bad idea, okay? So their feeding window might be higher protein and some carbs because they need to fuel their body for whatever exercise they're doing, okay? So everybody is different. We use nutrition response testing to find out what your body specifically needs on a micronutrient level, okay? So while you're doing an intermittent fast, when you have your feeding window open, it is super important to get nutrients in, okay? You can't just eat garbage, because then you're gonna feel like garbage, okay? So when you have the couple windows of time to eat, you need to be making sure that's quality so you can actually give your body fuel, okay? And whatever vitamins or minerals your body might need we're able to identify that using nutrition response testing. Okay, we're able to pinpoint super specific nutrient requirements of your body. Okay, we usually do this. I tell people 12 weeks is a minimum to try something because that's like a complete healing cycle to your body. Okay, anybody can do anything for 12 weeks when you really think about it. When people come in here and they want to start a nutrition program, that's the minimum amount of time. Because otherwise, I don't want to waste anybody's time, okay? That's how fast your body can heal. We can't, you might have results within the first week or two, but really to start healing, that's up to God, and that's how fast your body's going to be able to do it, okay? At the minimum is 12 weeks. So just so you guys kind of understand that if you want us to help you with your nutrition, it's a minimum of 12 weeks, okay? All right, so I know you guys have questions, and we have plenty of time to go over all of your questions. Did anybody who was watching online have questions no? You guys were good? Okay, awesome. So that was super thorough. We're going to turn Facebook Live off. Thank you guys for watching at home. And if you guys have questions, we